running 3 points away, pulls up for the three, and
Go
bang!
from a running back to a difference maker, and that's what Jensen is right now.
Jensen to the 20, Jensen to the 10, Jensen to the end zone! Touchdown!
Welcome back to 365 Unlimited. We are back, with another episode. It's been a long time since I've had the opportunity to sit down and do an interview. It's actually been quite a few months, probably around 8-ish months, and it don't feel good, but it feels good to be back. So I'm excited to, have Luke Norman in the building with me tonight. Gannon is not on this episode. He's busy with his new job and doing a bunch of things regarding baseball, so I'm going to just take this one away. We'll get started and have this great conversation that I know our community wants to hear and needs to hear. And, it's an interesting one that kind of went down in Freeport, Illinois, and our surrounding community rallied behind former head coach of the Highland Cougars, Luke Norman. Kind of just introduce yourself a little bit. And we've had you on the show before. You were actually one of our first interviews, so it's a full circle thing.
5-6 years ago, I was going to my first year as head coach, man, and it's been a long 5-6 years, but yeah, Luke Norman from Freeport, former head coach here at Highland Community College for the past five years or so. Dad was a longtime coach at Highland. Grew up in the community, and now I'm moving on to Mobley Area Community College under JUCO in Missouri.
Love it. I think when people tune into this episode, because I think there'll be a lot of community support, wanting to hear your version or your side of the story, and all the media outlets as far as WIFR, WREX, and Rockford, and them being able to put out a kind of a filtered version in a way. I mean, I think they do a great job, but to kind of have this raw, uncut version of what really went on and what's going on in your head, I think will be special. So if you want to just kind of open up with your version, I guess, what went down and what kind of led to the controversy in general?
We had a game Thursday night against Kennedy King at home. And after the game, unfortunately, in the handshake line, there was a little pushing and shoving, and turned out to a fight on the court in different areas of the court where, we didn't condone any of that. We know it was not a good look, a good fight. But also at the same time, we don't believe we started the fight. A kid pushed one of the guys down with the crutches, Alphonse. And then, have you been in athletics? We've been in athletics long enough. It's unfortunate, but this thing can happen. Yep. It's the first time it's ever happened. There's nothing in the game that would have thought that we would be any type of controversy after the game. No texts, no pushing and shoving, no crap talking, and one thing led to another, and it was all out brawl, and that kind of got started with all the whole thing that kind of led to my termination.
Got you. I mean, I think me looking back from an outside perspective, kind of getting to understand what all went down, and seeing the live stream video of the fight in general. I think my initial reaction was, if you've been involved in sports, and I don't think a lot of political figures and people in general at the top of leadership really truthfully probably even understand what it means when emotions get high in athletics and things do happen. They stir over, and instances occur where you wish you could take those things back. But at the end of the day, being the head coach, there's only so much you can control. And I think it's unfortunate that it leads to a termination. So let's just kind of start off with, the moment you found out, how were you informed about your dismissal from Highland Community College, and what was your initial reaction?
Yeah, if we want to take it back, so after that fight, we proactively forfeited 2 games, coach staff, and the NJCA said that was good enough for our forfeits. And then our region and admin decided to give us one extra game. That was supposed to be our sophomore night. And I wanted to appeal it. So when I got the call from our inter AD, I said, let's just appeal it. I know from the past, I've been here my whole career. My dad was on the ethics committee. If we appeal this, we're gonna win it. They always go with the NJCAA, and they made the decision without asking me or come when I asked to appeal. They said we already canceled the game, canceled the refs. So then that led to all this other stuff. Within a matter of 48 hours, I got put on paid admin leave. Couldn't coach, couldn't be in contact with the team, couldn't go to games, couldn't set foot on campus, didn't have access to my email. So that happened, and then I got my paid admin leave extended. And that's when they kind of did an emergency board meeting on that Wednesday or Thursday. And I learned I was terminated when everybody else did during that board meeting. I knew rumblings from a couple inside people that they're voting to terminate me. But I actually found out officially with everybody else.
See, I mean, looking back at the whole situation in general, I think it's frustrating, when you put 5 years of time into something to build something back up to what it once was under your father, and to wrongfully be pushed to the side, it is a joke, and it is something that we need to look at. I think it's a worldwide issue within sports in general, and it goes for all coaches. I don't necessarily think at the top leadership, sometimes they just don't support their coaches, and it sucks, and it's an unfortunate situation. But I guess in general, when you got put on paid and administration leave and don't have access to your email, can't be in contact with the team, like what is going through your mind? Because I imagine it's just like you're restless sitting at home, like what do I do?
Yeah, exactly, man. And we're gearing up for, our first region game, which I couldn't participate in. It's really just sitting, trying not to drive yourself crazy, man. Reaching out to people, calling people, talking to people. I had a great support system with family in the community reaching out to me. That made it a lot easier. But yeah, it was a difficult time going through that, having to wait. And then, some things went behind the scenes with meetings and stuff that I can't specifically get into.
Yeah.
That, we felt like we have evidence and proof against still during this ongoing legal situation. And, nothing's been official yet, but it takes a process and time to make sure we get all our ducks in a row. But a lot of stuff, man, a lot of boredom. It was a long 2 weeks, and I got paid put on another paid admin leave until that board meeting.
See, that's just the frustration I can't even imagine, because I'm an anxious person in general, but when it comes down to situations like that, I can only imagine what's rushing through your head and just having to sit there and not be able to do anything about it. And it's an uncontrollable situation because, at the end of the day, if you can't control it, there's nothing you can do but sit there and anxiously wait. And,
yeah, exactly.
And it sucks. Like it had to unfold in front of our whole community too. In a negative light. And the interesting part to me about it was just seeing how many people really backed you and backed the fact of the matter of people wanted you to remain the head coach. And that's our community speaking. That was our community, sharing Facebook posts, whether it was hopping on that live Zoom call and speaking, people that showed up publicly, like all of that deserves a ton of recognition, I think, and speaks volumes of the people that we do have in our community that are willing to back our coaches, willing to back, positive things. So what did that support mean to you?
Oh, it meant the world to me, man. Like I said in a different interview, Cougar Nation and Freeport, they showed up for me.
Yeah.
Like 200 plus people on Zoom. There's, standing room only. All the people that spoke for my character when my character was being questioned a little bit, where in 5 years I had no disciplinary action or nothing in my HR files at Highland that should have led to any of this. But listening to those people, it was very humbling, and that's why I wanted the job. That's why I came back for the job. That's why I wanted to keep a job, because the community here for Highland and Cougar Nation, it's second to none in JUCO, and it's sad that I think a lot of that support now is being shifted somewhere else or not there at all after a handful of people make one decision that affects the whole community.
Yep. I wholeheartedly agree. And since I'm not involved in the legalities and everything and people aren't coming after me about it, I'll make my statement in regards to my support for you. I personally view this entire thing as a personal attack, a political attack on you as a human being, questioning your character, questioning your ability to be the coach. And I personally view it as a way to push your family away from Highland Community College. And I think that is an absolute case of BS, and it sucks that we have to watch that unfold, because the Norman family, every Freeport resident or surrounding area community member that tunes into this episode will understand and gets it when I say that the Norman family is Highland basketball. And it's going to suck to not be able to witness that. And I've already kind of made up in my mind, like, I played 2 years of baseball at Highland Community College. I don't have anyone else really involved at Highland Community College. I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done. There's no support that I want to give that place anymore, regardless. And it sucks because that's a place, I got my associate's degree from, but I don't care. It's when it's a political attack on somebody, especially someone who's been successful for a team and helped shape the lives of young adults. It is an attack, and it's not fair. It's ridiculous. But overall, so with this board meeting and, you finding out that there was going to be an emergency board meeting, getting all that support, what do you feel like the public still doesn't know that you can speak on, at least? What do you feel like the public doesn't know?
Yeah, there's a few things, man. I felt like I got intimidated in one of the meetings that was supposed to just be me and the president and the vice president when they had their lawyer show up to kind of intimidate me and tag me to saying something I didn't want to say. And it's funny, one of the paid admin leaves, that second one, I can say this, that one of them was I refused to answer questions that they asked me, where that's not That's not true at all. I answered every question. I just don't think they thought I'd be prepared, and I had the answer ready for every question. That's just not what they wanted to hear. So, and I just wanted to make it clear that, again, the fight wasn't. I mean, no one condones that. It was bad. But I also want to make clear I did not get suspended or terminated or put on leave for the fight. It was for my insubordination after the fight within a matter of 48 hours.
Okay. You want to speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, some of it, I can't go into detail on all of it, but I'll just give one example that, I ran our website, Highland website. They said one of the insubordinations, I was, told to put it as a forfeit on our website, highlandcougars.com, and there's no option to put forfeit. There's only win-loss. So they call that insubordination when, if you go look at the website now, it still doesn't say forfeit. So little petty stuff like that. And a lot of things that aren't considered insubordination, it's just me asking questions and disagreeing.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think the key statement in that right there is you're answering questions, you're doing everything they need you to do, but at the end of the day, it's not what they want to hear. Yes. And that goes for any job, that goes for any larger business at a high scale. When you're an employee and you tell somebody that something they don't want to hear, or they feel challenged when they're at the top of leadership and they can't take it or try to understand your point of view, I mean, that's almost a ridiculous level of authority and abuse of power.
Yeah, there's a list of it, and more of it will come out sooner and sooner. But that's just one example of what's considered insubordination, where it's nothing I could actually do.
I get it.
A lot of it, all the points we have stuff against that improvement. A lot of it isn't insubordination; it's just disagreement and asking questions. And even if it was insubordination within 48 hours of them doing that, nothing that I've done in my past should have been even close to considering terminating me for this.
Yeah. And 48 hours is such a quick turnaround to make up your mind. And I feel like almost a lot of this decision and the board meeting and everything was just solely based off of emotion. There was no thought process. There was no understanding of, we're going to sit down and have multiple meetings, conduct a larger investigation, and truthfully sit down, with yourself, the head coach, and try to come to a resolution or compromise. So that kind of leads me into my next question. Like, was there ever a conversation about a resolution or compromise before you were terminated?
No, not really. The only thing that I was asked to do, and I won't name by which board member, was I was asked to resign respectfully so this stuff wouldn't get out in public. So, and of course, I did not want to do that.
Yeah, and that's just
and that's coming from one of the board members who texted me, or my dad wanted me to do that.
I mean, just hearing that from you frustrates me and will frustrate people that listen to this, with the understanding that not only were you asked to resign, but do it respectfully. Do it in a
lot
manner.
Of it was because, sorry to cut you off, was they didn't want to put a black mark on my career for getting fired for misconduct. Everything wouldn't have to become public, and there was nothing in my files that's bad. Like, we won, I think it was a way for them not to have to go public with it and get the whole fiasco. But we're still working on that. But yeah, I was asked to resign respectfully and pretty much just not making any effort to get it out to the public. They didn't want it out in public, so they kind of trying to influence me to resign.
See, that is the annoying part, and the tough part that I battle with is when you have an institution that wants to privately criticize you but doesn't want the public to find out about it. It's shady. It's different. It's something that we don't want to be a part of in our Freeport, Illinois community, and it has been prevalent for years. And I think that's part of the reason why we have this show, why we allow people on to come, use their voice and share their story, because there's so many negative things that occur. And this is just another instance, another story that relates to those issues. And I think it sucks and it's almost unforgivable in a way. But I want to make this point clear that I don't think this, you moving on and going to a different school and all the things you got going on for you, I don't think this put a black mark on your career.
No, I mean, anybody I talk to in the athletic world, like I had coaches, D1 coaches. The biggest thing is, to make it clear, it was all just to advocate for my players because they deserve another game.
Yeah,
the NJSA gave us our 2-game suspension. We proactively did it, right?
Yep.
They said that's good, and then to get another game without even trying to appeal, without even trying to hear from us, and then making an emotionally charged decision. And the other key part is that was considered, I guess, a little bit of insubordination was on that Thursday game that we couldn't play against Malcolm X, our sophomore night. And we have parents flying in from Tennessee, grandparents. They met with our team that same day, and they said that, no, while you guys can't play tonight, we want to recognize the sophomores at the girls' game. And I said, I speak for all of us. We're not going to go to the game and be, recognized.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we being recognized when we're being punished and can't play this next game? We should be playing after this and getting recognized.
100%.
So I respectfully declined that, and we just went out to eat because I don't think it made any sense to be recognized at a game that day that we can't play after that girls' game. So
Well, especially at an institution that's not backing its team and coach.
like, why are we getting recognized when we could be playing this next game? That didn't make sense to me.
I think that like all those points build into what I want to talk about now. It's, kind of the transition in general, but what are some of the unwritten challenges, of coaching at the JUCO level that fans or, the public don't fully understand?
How much time it puts in with these guys. I mean, you got 13 to 15, and I'm only 31, 18 to 22-year-olds that you're taking care of every single day. Yep. I mean, from food, from classwork to get them graduated, practice, to get them from coaches, dealing with them mentally, man. Sometimes we're the only people that they can talk to.
Mm-hmm.
They're away from home for the first time. Taking kids from high school or transfers and growing them into young men and productive members of society. And I take great pride in that. My dad takes great pride in that. I feel like we've always done it for the right reasons, which is for the kids. And that's the challenging part, man, is when you just care about the kids. I would do it all again if I had to, just because I think they deserve that extra game. But there's tons of challenges with dealing with all these things. And, as you know, today's sports age, it's tough for these kids, man.
It is.
People pulling in different directions. You got to keep them focused, locked in, and we got to give them that degree.
Yeah.
But the challenging thing at JUCO, sorry to get back to your question, is
you good.
A lot of the funding, a lot of the travel, like we got to raise money for everything.
Yep.
We had to raise money for everything in Highland. So I think they're going to feel repercussions of that as well in the program.
1,000%. I would agree. And I think it, like you just said right there, you would do it all again. And I applaud you for that, because I think if you don't do exactly what you did in the past, if you were to go back and not do it the same way, I think then that knocks your character a little bit. But I think this shows, by you making that statement that you do it all again, it speaks volumes to your players. So, the players that you've coached that listen to this episode, what is one thing you want to leave them with? What is a piece of advice or something that you have in your head that you want to share with them?
Oh, always just, like I just said, speak up for what you think is right. Do what you think is right, regardless of the repercussions. I think you'll always feel better in the long run. And don't ever be afraid to reach out to somebody. If you need help, just any advice or just some comfort, man. I mean, tons of people did that to me during this process, and I can't thank them enough. And that's why I love when I get calls from my players from 2, 3 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I'd still talk to them all the time, and just have that long-lasting relationship with them, build relationships, and just always do what you think is right.
Agree completely, especially when it comes down to being able to reach out to people, and when you're a player's coach and you're ingrained with your team and they know they can reach out to you, they have that trust factor, the relationship is strong enough and the bond is tight enough that hey, I can call coach. It's 10 o'clock at night. I know he's still going to pick up. I know he's still going to talk me through this issue, and that's the definition of sports right there. I don't think so. I mean, you probably know, but people in general that listen to this know that I'm a Cowboys fan. And actually, on the way home today, I was listening to their new head coach, who I wasn't a big fan of the hire, Brian Schottenheimer. But his press conferences and the way that he speaks volumes to me. And today he was talking about, he said, none of the on-field or for your instance, none of the on-court stuff matters. He said, when it comes down to it, relationships are what boosts the sports team. It's what boosts morale within your team. It's what gives your team credibility and establishes a culture. And I think that's something, it really clicked in my head on the way home listening to that is him saying, we're in the building with these guys every day, but what matters the most is what we do with them outside of the building.
Yeah.
Are we reaching out to them? Are we taking care of them? Are we going out to eat with them? Meeting their family, meeting the people that impacted them. That is what leads to wins and leads to a solid culture. But that was just something I want to throw in there, because I think that's the type of coach you are.
Yeah.
And that's who you've been at Highland for years. And I'll speak on one more story too. And I put this on social media when all this went down, that, we had a 365 live event and you brought one of your players, a player that wasn't familiar with the area, a player that had been through some things. Yes. And I've never seen something so special happen that day where, you sitting down in front of that microphone gave your player the confidence to speak about his story, and it led him to tears.
Yeah, man. And I love him. I mean, actually, he just needed to get out of Chicago about 3 weeks ago, man. Just came home and stayed here for a couple of days, man. So he
Yeah.
really, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. People don't know his story, his background,
Mhm.
but it's nice that at your event, he was comfortable enough to be able to speak about it to people at Freeport who they don't know a lot of people like him from this scenario, and it's real.
Yeah. I agree. It is real, and those are the players you get to coach every day. You don't, and it's for me as a teacher, as a coach, like I see that every day. You don't know how a kid slept the night prior. You don't know if they even ate food before they went to bed at night. Like all those things factor into their mood the next day. Factor into what type of player they're going to show up and be at practice. So as a coach in today's world, it's so different to be able to kind of understand, who you're coaching, why you're coaching them, and how to coach them.
No, that's 100% right, man. Too many people these days, something's kids lethargic, tired, sleeping. Figure out why.
Yeah.
They're just not like that for a reason.
Yeah.
Figure
You
out
got
why
to
they're
go
like
above
that.
and
See if you can
beyond.
help. Yeah, just don't get mad at them. You don't know what they've been through the night before. Like you said, if they've eaten, did they sleep? Were they watching a little brother or sister when they're in 6th grade and they had to stay up all night, and then they're sleeping the next day? And figure out why. See how it can help.
I agree 1000%. All right. So as we kind of transition, into your next steps, have you made peace with your time at Highland, or is this kind of still an open wound for you?
I wouldn't say I made peace. I wouldn't say it's an open wound. I mean, it's no love lost. I know
Yeah.
that, and I can't see myself ever supporting them, my family. I speak for my family, ever supporting them again. I feel bad for my dad for everything he built up in 30 years.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not going to say it's a hard word, but I don't think we're going to get over it.
Yeah.
It's always going to be bad blood there now. I mean, I'm not going to sit around thinking about him all the time. I'm moving on to a blue blood JUCO, but I mean, you just can't do something like that and get over it. So, especially
100%.
with a family who's been there for 30, 35 years, who built that whole program.
Yep, I agree 1000%, and I think the community does as well. So let's transition a little bit into what's next for Coach Luke Norman. I know you've kind of seen you on social media. You got a lot of things actively about to be full swing. This summer and had the opportunity. What was it? The Fred Van Vliet summer or spring team?
Yeah, so I'm actually coaching them in July too. So, Fred Van Fleet Elite 17U. We've had a really good spring. I mean, we traveled pretty much from April through late May. We were gone every weekend playing somewhere, from Omaha to Wichita to St. Louis to Indy. I think we ended up like 16-4, 17-5 record, which is really good. We got the 8th seed in in the Puma circuit for July. So we got an 8th seed, so we go against the top Puma circuit teams in Virginia and in Dallas or Fort Worth area. No, College Station, not Fort Worth. Got Cowboys in the College Station area. And we get to go against the best. So it's been a really, really good spring. Our point guard, Amir Danforth, he committed to North Dakota State. Fred's nephew. We actually offered at Auburn. Champ Parker. We offered him locally.
Yeah.
So it's been a good spring.
Awesome. That is awesome. I know you mentioned College Station. Be careful. Stay away from Johnny Manziel if you run into him, if he's out there.
Hey, business trip, man.
Yeah, 100%. But so, moving on and having that opportunity, honestly, pretty much right away. The resignation happens and you're done at Highland, and then you get that opportunity, you get that call. It had to feel good to have the opportunity to step right back into the basketball world, even if it's at a different scale and different age group. The connection right away.
Oh yeah, I mean, I couldn't. And the thing is, I mean, I knew about that for a few weeks in advance. I just kind of held on to it for a little bit, close to the vest. I had that move planned already. Actually, even before all that went down at Highland, I already accepted at 17. I just kind of held it close to the vest just in case something happened, and boom, bounced back on my feet. It's been a grind, man. I mean, the good thing with Team FEV to 17U, first of all, great kids, great parents. But the resources we got with those guys, it's crazy. Fred has his own gym in Winnebago, 2 courts. So we're an AU team that gets to practice 3-4 times a week. When most AU teams, they're practicing 1 to 2 times a week. So we get a lot of training in. It's a weight room. We got a cold tub, hot tub. I mean, it's great resources for our kids that a lot of AU teams don't have. And then we're first class to everything else, man. We're staying in hotels. Our kids grind, man. It's that Rockford, man. 815, we just play hard. We might not have the size of everybody else. We play hard, we get after, and we're not scared of anybody. And the AAU season's been a grind, man. I'm not used to 4 games in a weekend and all that. So it's been a grind, but it's been awesome. A different group, a little more teaching with a younger level. But Joe Danforth, I want to thank him for the opportunity. That's Fred's dad, stepdad, asked me to be the coach. So it's been a really good job.
No, and that's just awesome to see your and hear about your willingness to, you're teaching a little bit older kids at the college level, and guys that are a little bit more mature and understand the game at a higher level, and then your willingness to step down and be with that younger age group. It speaks volumes on your character, speaks volumes on your versatility as a basketball coach and understanding the fundamentals and being able to teach that at a different variety of ages. But overall, you talked about, going to a blue blood JUCO program. What's next? Where are you headed? What are you excited most about? And just kind of that whole opportunity.
Yeah, I'm going to Mobley Area Community College in Mobley, Missouri. It's about halfway. It's about in the middle between Kansas City and St. Louis, about 30 minutes from Columbia. And I couldn't be more excited to go. Coach Pat Smith, he's the head coach there. He's a Hall of Famer. He's won everywhere he's been at. I mean, Mobley is a blue blood. They have 4 or 5 national titles. I think the first or second most wins all time in junior college. And then, as people don't know, blue bloods like colleges, Duke, Carolina, Kansas. It's like Mobley, Vincennes, Northwest Florida State, Indian Hills. So we're with those guys. They have a 3,000, 4,000 seat field house that the games are in. Great fan base. And I've been playing against them for 5 straight years. I've never beat them. So once I got this opportunity, I had to go there because it's championship. It's legit national championship or bust there. They've won 25 or more games the last 9 straight seasons. So
Love it.
We're expected to go there. And the amount of Division I players that come out of there are endless. I mean, this last year at one point in a single season, 18 Mobley players were playing Division I. Anywhere from West Virginia, Wake Forest, Sincere Parker's going to Memphis now, App State, did I say West Virginia? Everywhere you can think of, man. Arizona State. I mean, high major, mid major, low major, but it's a different level compared to Highland. Just the amount of resources they have and the back they have, and like I said, the community sport there reminds me a lot about Highland too. They travel to all our games and they played us at our holiday tournament at Highland. So I know a lot of people down there, and Pat Smith's Hall of Famer. I can't wait to get going.
Awesome. And I'll say firsthand, and the community in general, I know is happy and excited to see you land on your feet and get a new opportunity, stay involved in the game. And obviously right now you're transitioning into an assistant role. I want to leave you with this last question here. What legacy do you believe you've already left? And that could be Highland or just basketball coaching in general. What legacy do you feel like you've already left, and what legacy do you still want to build?
I think what I left here is obviously that I'm for the players, I'm for the student athletes, and I'm gonna do what I got to do to make sure they get treated right, or do whatever I have to do to make sure they get treated right, or at least a fair chance to get treated right. It's all about relationships, and I think my legacy is we graduated about 98% of our sophomores. A lot of them went out to play at the next level, get a free education, and I think at the same time they had a pretty good basketball career here wise. So just that I'm all for the players, for the student athletes, and I think building those relationships and showing them what true character is, which I think Freeport saw and came to show out for me, is a legacy I left behind. And I want to leave the same legacy wherever I go. That it's about the student athletes, it's about the students, getting them from this level, maturing them, getting them to that next level where they can get their school paid for the rest of their life. Now, these day and ages, maybe get paid when they get to that next level. Probably get paid when they get to the next level, which that can set them up for life too. I mean, I know that's a controversial topic right now, the transfer portal, but a lot of these players deserve to get this money, and I think they have a small opportunity in these 4 years to get paid, and they're probably not going to get an opportunity like this again. And I think taking advantage of that is the most important thing, but also making sure they go to the right fit and not just going to a school to get paid.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I think that's fantastic advice when it comes to, the type of coach you want to be and the type of coach that someone is listening to this and saying, how can I be that type of coach? And legacy matters. What kind of impact do you want to leave behind? And if you can be someone who helps those student athletes prosper and grow, then you're on the right track, regardless if it involves wins, losses, no matter what. You're pushing those kids to be better humans first before better basketball players. So I just want to say thank you, man, and having the willingness to come on here and share your story. If there's anything else you want to share, feel free. Other than that, I think we'll wrap this one up, and let's just hope the public enjoys this one as much as I did.
Yeah, I mean, and, the more we go, we can link back up, and I'll just be able to share more and more. But I do have a basketball camp, Luke Norman basketball camp, 23rd through the 26th. I'll be posting on Facebook. And I know there's been talk about pay. I'm going to reach out to everybody who individually signed up and get their payment. And then, hopefully have a great time at 23rd through the 26th. So that'll be at Akron High School.
Awesome. Take advantage of that opportunity. I know I shared it on our 365 social media pages. So if you are in town or in the surrounding small area of Freeport, Illinois, then hop in. Take a chance on learning from a great coach, and before he leaves Freeport to head to a different school, a different college, take advantage of this opportunity. It doesn't come around often, so better your skills and become a better human as well.
And I do think we are scheduled to play Highland a couple times this year, so we'll also be back for their Christmas tournament. So I'll be looking forward to that, and that'll be a surreal feeling, I bet. So
I was gonna say that might be the one time I step back in the building.
yeah, I think a lot of people will, man. So, but Bryce, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate everything you're doing for Freeport and the community. And as you know, if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you as well, and thank you for your time. At being the head coach of Highland and supporting our community and putting your heart and soul into it. I think you deserve that recognition, and if no one else is going to give it to you, 365 does. So we appreciate you, and we hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next time.
Peyton running, 3 points away, pulls up with a three and
Go
fails.
from a running back to a difference maker, and that's what Jensen is right now.
Jetty to the 20. Jetty to the 10. Jetty to the